double coverage.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to Double Coverage. I'm Dom with the great man Sauce, and we hope you was fuck. I've just lost me train of thought, Sauce. For the first time in 38 pods. You would have thought I know what I've been doing by now. Anyway, fuck. We
Take
just hope you're
two.
still living. Yeah, I know. Hopefully, still living, loving, and breathing sport, ladies and gents. It's been a long one. It's been an arduous week. It's just been full on, but we're back with another episode. Saucy, you pumped? I know we've got a bit to talk about this week.
Yeah, bit to talk about. As usual, all the sports are back. Obviously, round one of AFL. Your boys, the F1,
They're back.
first week is back on the F1 side of things. We still haven't seen the release of the Topps Chrome product, which is pretty funny. That keeps getting postponed, the F1 Topps Chrome. But word is, I did see a tweet about that product specifically, that it is going to be releasing on Topps.com tomorrow. So, I mean, you're listening to this podcast.
News,
it is Wednesday the 24th. In America, it's the 23rd.
23rd.
So, yeah, but if you want some, F1 product, I definitely suggest getting on the Topps Chrome. It's going to be a hit. And then, Doma, we've obviously got the runarounds in the basketball and the usual things on the podcast. The hobby
AFL,
talk,
EPL,
the works.
F1, UFC, hobby talk.
Correct.
Sauceys Smokey, Le Mans of the week, which I could have got for my performance right at the beginning of this podcast. So I'm probably a shoe-in this week. We're actually, this week, just a teaser for the Le Mans of the week, we're probably going to go down the path of giving it to one of our favourites in the hobby. So we're going to go down that route, and we'll see how he takes it. We could get absolutely flamed, but you know what? It's all a bit of fun and games, the Le Mans of the week. But when we get to it, you'll see who we're giving it to. But we'll start with the NBA, Saucy. And as we always do, each and every week, we go to the standings. Philly first, and we're starting with the Eastern Conference of course, Philly first, Brooklyn second, Milwaukee third, Atlanta up into fourth now. They've been killing it since the manager swap. Charlotte into fifth. The Heat have dropped to 500. They're in sixth. New York are 500 in seventh. Boston under 500 in eighth. Chicago ninth. Indiana 10th. Toronto 11th. Cleveland 12th. Washington 13th. Orlando 14th. And Detroit 15th, last in the East. And then over to the West. Utah first, Phoenix second, Clippers third, Lakers potentially not making the playoffs according to people in fourth, Denver fifth, Portland sixth, San Antonio seventh, Dallas eighth, Golden State ninth, Memphis 10th, New Orleans 11th, Oklahoma 12th, Sacramento 13th, Houston in 14th. And as bad as Houston's been going with their losing streak, they're still ahead of Minnesota, who are the worst team in the NBA, with 10 wins and 33 losses in 15th in the West. But some big things
Massive.
This week. LaMelo Ball gone for the season. We're just going to put it out there right now. Anthony Edwards is Rookie of the Year. All right, so let's not crap on about...
Especially if he stays fit to the end of the season.
Yeah, if he stays fit, that's it. He's got that. So we're never going to get into that. It's a massive loss. He was playing so well. And it's funny, Sauce. It's very funny about LaMelo Ball, because I think we said it on this podcast. Our boy Corey Homicide Williams said it. Our boys Talking Cardboard also said it. Friends of ours. And we said, this kid's going to be good because he's played against men in the NBL, which is notorious for being a very, very physical league.
Correct.
And he was a boy amongst men, and he dominated in games before he got injured, and they put him on ice for the draft. And people said pretty much they were trying to say it was a Mickey Mouse league. The NBL, I probably want to play in there instead of college, if I'm being honest, in terms of physicality.
I'm telling you right now, the NBL will prepare you a lot better than college.
So now the funny thing is, Sauce, the reason I'm saying this is because everyone's jumping on board saying, yeah, because he played in a league where he played against men. Yeah, he developed much quicker and he had more ability than, those guys that were in college. Shut the hell up. Shut up. You know you're just jumping on the bandwagon. Just shut up. Come on. Do
As
your
Corey
research.
Homicide likes to say, the NBL ain't no cupcake league. That's what I'm saying. Look,
It's not a
that's all I'm gonna say,
cupcake.
right?
We're not just saying this
When
because we're
we ain't
Australian,
we ain't
mate.
saying
Just
we ain't
watch it.
saying that the NBL is the second best league in the world, right?
No.
But what we are saying is it ain't no cupcake league, and it is definitely a hell of a lot harder than college basketball. A hell of a lot harder. I don't give a fuck what you say. It is, right?
It
College
is. It's
basketball is
so
a walk in the
physical.
park compared to the NBL. Mind you, the physicality down here, you should see some of the refereeing that goes on in the NBL. It is actually a bit of a joke, some of the shit that they get away with in terms of physicality. It's literally
Bill
like you're watching
Laimbeer
some
would
of
have.
the NBA back in the 90s, man. Some of the stuff they get away with.
It is. It's true. People getting clobbered,
I'm
mate.
telling you. So, like, if you don't know the league, if you haven't watched the league regularly, like I
Don't
have,
comment.
right, because I live in this
Don't.
country and I watch
Yeah.
it, I've got the NBL League Pass, right,
And an
and
NBA
an
League
NBA
Pass.
League Pass, so there you go.
Watch the games.
Shut the hell up, right?
Don't
Don't
comment.
comment. You don't know
All
nothing.
right. We did the scouting report on Lamelo because we knew he was good and we knew he was the best ball brother, like in terms of potential. So we're like, when he came down here, along with RJ Hampton, which hasn't come along yet, he hasn't had
He hasn't been given the
the
game time, though,
minutes.
the
Yeah,
minutes.
but we looked at it and went, well, we're going to scrutinize and watch this kid in depth to see how he can hold up. And man, there was games where he was just absolutely balling, and we were like, we said to each other, this kid's going to be good. This kid's going to be really, really, really good. So finishing in physicality in traffic in the NBL is literally preparing you for physicality when you're going to finish in the NBA
Correct.
against men. So unfortunate for Charlotte. They are sitting in fifth. It would have been great to see him play playoff basketball. It is quite disappointing on that behalf. Before we get to the second biggest injury at the moment, Blake Griffin, he dunked Sauce.
Tell
Now,
us your theory, Doma. Tell us your theory on
now the,
Blake.
the theory actually was given to me by someone else, which you know what we like to do. We like to do research and we like to listen to other people's opinions, and then we're able to form our own. After we listen to the opinion, we say, you know what, I'm going to go do some research, all right? Because I may be wrong on my opinion. So that's how you formulate an opinion. It's research backed with case study. Yeah. So someone said to me, oh, he doesn't want to be at Detroit. He just wants to get bought out. He's actually still decent. And it's going to be a pretty good pickup for Brooklyn. And I said, nah, 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 nah. And I didn't like the dunk thing. I'm like, he's not going to lose his hops. He can't go if he lost his hops completely and he couldn't dunk a ball. He's like finished. He's like the most athletic guy in the league at one stage. Has now got zero athleticism. Like the guy's not 45 years old.
Yeah.
So I was just like, no, he's got athleticism. The dunk thing didn't bother me. It was more the defensive side of the ball and the struggles and stuff. Can he rebound as good still? That was my concern. I don't care about dunking. You can still score. You can shoot a three now, Blake Griffin. So he doesn't have to get to the ring and dunk. He can just pull up a three now, and he's more threatening from that point of view. And they said to me, he hasn't been trying. He just wants to get bought out, and he'll play well when he gets to Brooklyn. He'll be a decent guy. And lo and behold, um, credit to my cousin who actually gave that to me. I did some research, and he had 2 points, two boards in his first game, which is okay. Well, I don't really care, off 15 minutes, and he had a humongous block. So he blocked the hell out of someone. So he got right up there. So if his athleticism was gone, he could get up there and block. Everyone was like, oh, maybe he can dunk. And then he did dunk in the game. So I think it's just a good pickup for them. And the underlying thing with Brooklyn, I understand they're 14th. They've been rated 14th in the league in defense. That's enough now, like, yeah, to win it.
Yeah, over
And
their
I
last
will
over
eat
their
our,
last 10 games. And
yeah,
and
I
we
will eat our words. You know what I mean? I don't care. Like, if they can prove that they can do that in the last 10 games, then I'll turn around and say, you know what? That now they become threatening and they can actually win it.
correct.
If you're number one offense and you're 14 defense, that's enough. It was like we said. The only concern is I was listening to um, Colin Cowherd's other podcast
Volume
network. I'll get it. Volume. Is it
Volume
Volume?
Podcast Network, correct?
Yeah, Volume. Yeah, the Colin Cowherd. Yeah, Volume Podcast Network. And he actually interviewed Doc Rivers. It's actually very interesting to go and have a listen to that podcast because he said that I think not KD, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard only trained together once. That's it,
Last year.
once before the bubble. They only traded with each other once
Yeah.
because they got there. Paul George was injured and then Kawhi was injured, and then they were in and out, and they trained together once, and then they were injuries back and forth. Then it got shut down. They came back, and then he said Kawhi came a bit later. Montrezl Harrell then came later to the bubble. Then he said Lou Williams went and got some wings. So it was all disruptions, and they didn't get a chance to play together. So he said honestly, the chemistry was more of the downfall than anything for that team because they hadn't played together. Now my only concern is as good as KD is he just going to come back in with these two guys and it's just going to be seamless? As you know, Kyrie's in and out again. Like he's got time off and he's got leave and this and that. It just happens to be his birthday today and he took some family leave. Happens to be his birthday. So look into that how you will. Like,
How did
you know
how
what I'm
did how
saying?
did like the other guys on the team just like how do
Well,
you just
funnily,
take that?
funnily
You know what I
enough,
mean? Like
yeah.
I just
Funnily
don't
enough,
feel like playing.
was it
Like not that
who
you're
was it?
injured, not that you're you know
Who was I
like
listening
if you're the
to?
eighth
It was
guy
Tom.
on the roster and you're the third guy coming off the bench, I bet you couldn't do that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it baffles me, but they're looking pretty good. Blake Griffin looks like he might be a handy piece, so that's all we'll say on that. So we can move on. So he looks pretty good. But then the big news clearly is the end of the Lakers season as we know it. According to everyone, pundits out there, Lakers aren't making playoffs. They're finished. LeBron James got injured. I love how everyone pretty much said that the moment he got hurt, LeBron's a baby. He's faking it. Um, you should just get over it and get back on the court and play. And it was pretty funny because if that was any other player, you'd be sending out like, "Oh, prayers up for this guy, prayers up for that guy." You know what I mean?
Yeah, just because he's an
LeBron gets
alien
hurt.
and he's always there, ready for his team, yeah, he's gonna have a crack at him. Look,
Yeah,
you
no,
know, I'm not worried, Doma. We're definitely not gonna end up in the top four seeds at this point because
no.
this team's gonna struggle to win games. We just don't have enough offense, and we showed that today against a absolutely terrible defensive team in New Orleans where we barely put up the 100 points. I don't even know if we even got to 100 points today. But
I
last
think you
last
did.
time I
I
checked,
think
it
you're
was
100 or 110. I
110,
think
right? I mean, but what did they put up on us? They still beat they still
128.
beat us for 18. So what does that tell you?
Yeah.
We're lacking on the defensive side of the ball. I really do think we do need to get in another center. I hope we can get the deal done for Andre Drummond. I really hope that that is the case because I think you add that piece and bring back our two stars. We'll be ripe and ready. And even if we're sitting in fifth seed, no one wants to play the Lakers. No one wants to
People are
play the
saying like,
Lakers. Doesn't matter.
yeah, no one wants to play the Lakers, man. Like, fuck. It's just so frustrating. You just got to sit back and just watch the games, all right? Sometimes you just can't listen to people in the media. All right, I'll take you back only 6 months, yeah, or 7 months. It's not even that. It's not even 1 year ago because obviously the season's pretty much backed into each other. I'll just take you back and remind you, as I keep reminding everyone, like you wrote off this guy last year and he won the title. You wrote him off the year that he came back from 3-1 down. Every time LeBron's in the finals, he gets written off. Anyway, he's literally like the underdog, except for the one where he beat Oklahoma. As I keep saying, he was the favorite there because they were all kids, KD, Westbrook, and Harden in that one. But literally, he's all. It's just like, oh yeah, they're finished. That's it. Lakers done. You said this last year because all the mighty Clippers in the West were going to be the Kingslayer. Mate, LeBron didn't even have to go through any Slayer in the Western Conference Finals. All he had to do was win it in 5 games or whatever it was, 6 games. Like I don't get
Yeah.
it.
Look,
I,
I'm
we'll
telling you
talk a
right
bit more
now,
about
LeBron's going
LeBron.
to be
We'll talk a
back
bit more.
within 4 to 5 weeks, right? And it'll be all good, mate. Anthony Davis will be
I'm not.
back. We're going to slide a few games. I can't see us, maybe out of our
Yeah.
next 10 games, maybe we'll be lucky to win 2. We might slide a little bit. We might slip down to the 6th, 7th spot. But, you know, not for anything. We're still only 3 games behind top seed.
4
4
now.
games behind top
4.
seed. And
The last 10, you're 5-5.
but we're still 6 games ahead of 8th seed, which is Dallas.
Yeah, which is a positive.
So
So
are we going to slide? Yeah, most likely. But hey, even if we slide to the 5th, Denver swaps with us. I guarantee you, Denver doesn't want to face the Lakers in the first round of the playoffs
yeah,
after what we did to them last season. So
100%, 100%.
look, time will tell. All faith in LeBron to come back fit and healthy. AD obviously has had his time out. And what would be really good if AD comes back and carries the team for a bit and um, feels what it's like to have the pressure to perform night in and night out in terms of what LeBron's had his whole career essentially.
100%. So we'll see what happens there. We'll just get to league leaders. We will talk a bit more about LeBron a bit further on in the show when we get to the Le Mans of the week. So um, points per game, Bradley Beal's still there, 32.1, Lillard 30.3, Embiid 29.9, Giannis 29, and Curry 29. Rebounds, Capella 14.2, Gobert 13.4, Valanciunas 12.3, Vucevic 11.8, Giannis 11.7. Assists, Harden still 11.1, leading the league. Westbrook 10.2, Trae Young 9.4, Luka the Don 9.2, and Chris Paul 8.8. Big props also to Chris Paul, who's second player ever to get to 10,000 assists. So that's an amazing achievement for him. One of the most underrated guys in terms of his playing style, probably to play basketball. He's just a gritty. It's like a vintage guy playing in a modern era, Chris Paul. So it's awesome to see him reach that milestone. And then for blocks, Miles Turner 3.4, Gobert 3, Capella 2.2, Noel 2.0, and Boucher 1.9. Very nice, Saucy.
Quick note
Moving
before we
on.
move on.
Yes.
The Milwaukee Bucks are absolutely flying, and I reckon under the radar some might chew.
Oh, yeah, they
But
are. They are.
won 12 of their last 13. They've won 6, 7 in a row, and literally averaging 120 points a game.
Good. I can't wait
But
till they play Brooklyn.
also to note, this is pretty much what we expect or what we're used to from the Milwaukee Bucks during the regular season. So, Bucks fans out there and people out there, Giannis, collectors, all good to do it in the regular season, but let's see what you do in the
Yeah,
playoffs.
I know, but the difference this year between any other year as well, though, as you said, they are flying up under the radar. They're getting no
It's true.
airtime because it's all Brooklyn or Philly.
Correct.
There's no pressure on them
It
this
is no
year.
pressure. So
Yeah.
this could be.
There's no
That's what
Giannis
I'm saying. That's what
MVP
I'm saying. They're
talks.
flying under the radar.
Yeah,
And maybe this is
that's
the situation that
could work
Giannis
to
and
their
that team
advantage.
needs, to
Could work to their
exactly.
advantage, man. I actually hope it does because, as you know, I'd love to see Brooklyn lose to anyone. I don't care who it is. It's just to prove everyone. You don't bloody literally. You know what I'm saying? Say things before they even happen. And then bank on it that it is going to happen. And then every time someone says, well, I have done that in the next segment in AFL with Richmond, but guess what? I was right last time I said that. So I can afford to say it. So we will move on to AFL. Great to have footy back source in this country. Overseas listeners, obviously, we did have it last year in a bubble type, in a hub, sorry, not a bubble, a hub type scenario. But it's good to just have the fans back there and just just some normality. 75% capacity this week, probably expecting to have 100% by Easter. So next week for the games there. So that is going to be huge. Everything in this state and in this country is looking to go back to normal, which is fantastic. I know it's an envy to the rest of the world. I know a lot of people are still struggling with COVID in their countries, and our best goes out to them. But here it's looking good for the footy, and it all kicked off with Richmond versus Carlton on Thursday night. Carlton looked really, really promising at times, but the guy that I said was going to just get the quaddy up and running this year with his Norm Smith Brownlow Premiership and what was the other one I said? Norm Smith Brownlow Premiership. That was it. No, trifecta.
Everything. He's going to win it
D,
all.
D Mark just put on an
Oh
absolute
yeah, look,
clinic.
we watched that game, and you know
The
what
bar.
was funny? The Carlton supporters getting excited at the game. Then they realised that there's still another quarter of football, and then in the fourth quarter, Richmond just pulled away. And the difference between Richmond and a lot of teams in the AFL is they play quarters 1 to 4, right?
Yep.
And it only takes one bad quarter of football in the AFL, especially if it's in the second half, the third or the fourth quarter. That's it. It's lights out.
I was actually speaking to someone as well, and they made a very good point, and I'm going to use it. Uh, and because it made pure sense, because Source has been saying this to me consistently that they're the only team that plays 4 quarters that can run out 4 quarters. We had 16-minute quarters last year, and they're back up to 20. The advantage for a team like Richmond, because they can run out 4 quarters, is because there's an extra 16 minutes a game tacked on. They just wear teams down. They are literally like the New England Patriots with Tom Brady, death by 1,000 cuts, mate. They will literally wear you down and strike at the most opportune time. And that's what Richmond are like. They'll wear you down. And we saw it in the granny. Like we said, oh yeah, it's your lead's not too big is not big enough. If your lead is not big enough by this stage in the game, you are not winning against this side because they'll just blast you away in the third and fourth quarter. They just kill teams.
Yeah.
So, and the difference also between Richmond and every other team in the comp, they've got probably a top 5 all-time player in the history of the sport playing for their team, which makes a humongous difference. And when that guy is playing one-on-one football up forward, he is unstoppable. No one is stopping him. Literally, no one is stopping him. He just bullies defenders like really good defenders. He did it last year. I'm not just saying because he did it against Carlton. Everyone said, "Oh, but he played the Blues." No, he did it last year. If he's one-on-one, mate, he can't be stopped. And if the ball gets to the ground, he's 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 just like unbelievable there as well. He's just a freak of nature. It's just enjoy. It's a pleasure to watch him play. So honestly, just enjoy it. I've come around to the fact that he's probably going to eclipse my man, the King, which is Wayne Carey, and probably Gary Ablett Senior if he can win another flag. So we'll see what happens with the Tigers moving on throughout the season. But the next one up was the Collingwood Magpies versus the Western Bulldogs. The Dogs had a lot of the ball. They beat them 69-53. Probably not reflective of how much ball use they had. They obviously didn't hit the scoreboard as efficiently as they would have liked. They probably could have won this game by 5+ goals. Uh, they were too good. Collingwood are going to struggle.
Collingwood are going to struggle, and
They're going to
what's pretty
struggle.
funny,
Yeah.
Doma. They smashed Collingwood smashed the doggies in the hitouts, 46-19, but then they lost the clearances, right? And it just brings it back to I'm not sure what era of the game that Nathan Buckley thinks we're in. We're in an era where ruckmans, they aren't that effective. Sorry,
No.
but they just really aren't. Have a look at Toby Nankervis. He's, a very average ruckman. You don't need a gun ruckman. And then they went and gave that massive contract to Grundy, right?
I would have just let him go.
And not for anything, he's not worth it. He's not worth it. So, look, I don't want to hate on Grundy, but the fact of the matter is, we are in an era where ruckmans aren't that important. They just aren't. And we've seen that, the teams, they've won with ruckmans, premiership ruckmans, that won't even maybe not even get a look into the Hall of Fame in the future.
Yeah,
Right?
it's true.
So to go pay him that amount of money is absolutely bananas. Then to get rid of Trelaw, who, all right, he had 18 possessions and whatever, but, he's one of your better midfielders. And then you go get rid of Stevenson, and the funny thing is Stevenson goes and, towels it up in the midfield for North has 33 positives, 7
I
tackles.
know we got. I know even at we got smacked. But and this is the funny thing about Stevenson. He kept saying to the club he wanted to play midfield, and they kept saying no. We need you up forward. So you've arguably kept the goalie as the guy that you're putting in the midfield and then putting forward, and then keeping Stevenson as the main guy in the forward line, and you've probably given up one of your best young up and coming midfielders, but you didn't even know what you had till you flogged him off. And then you got rid of Phillips, who played really well for Hawthorn as well. But you literally got rid of your whole team.
Domo, I freaking love it. Collingwood is not making the 8. As I said, I didn't put him in my 8. They aren't. After what I've seen, they are not making the 8. They're just not good enough. If you're relying on Big Mason Cox up forward, well, there's already
he's
an
playing
issue.
pretty. He's playing
Look, he's
well.
playing well, but
well.
let's be honest.
Big American,
let's be honest, Doma. For the size he is, he should be able to clunk more marks up forward.
No, he's improved a lot.
Improved.
He'll be very good. He'll be very good this year for him. But he'll be probably the only guy that's going to.
Well, they'll be struggling because they only got 40 inside 50s to the Doggies 59. The Doggies had 19 more inside 50s, and they could have absolutely pummeled them, by 40 plus. Collingwood was lucky to only lose by that margin.
100%. All right, let's move on. D's beat the Dockers. Dockers are depleted. No Lob. Alex Pearce got injured in that game. Did his knee. Who else haven't they got?
And
Stephen
you picked
Hill,
Fremantle.
I did.
Lemon.
I did. It was a Lemon move. D's are pretty average. They are missing Wiedemann, Ben Brown. I just read before we got on the podcast, I think they've lost Harms for a few weeks as well. So they've got a few injuries down there at Gosh's Paddock. So, but they did get the win, 80-58. Next up, we had Adelaide versus Geelong, which is probably the game of the round.
And surprise of the round. And look, early doors, not warning signs for Geelong by any means, because they lost the first game last year and then they made the grand final. So it's not, I still rate them as a top 4 side. But Adelaide, look, it's too early to tell. Yeah, is this going to be, as I said last week, there's always a team every year that comes up. That's a surprise packet.
Yeah, but they ended their season pretty well, Adelaide.
They did end their season very well. So maybe they've rolled that into this season. Now, what Adelaide are we going to get? Are we going to get an Adelaide that's going to, surprise everyone? Or are we going to get an Adelaide that's going to be, hey, when they're on, they can battle with any team and they can push any team. But when they're off, well, boy, they're going to be off.
I know. And you probably are going to get inconsistencies because they are very, they got a good mix of vets in that team, but they are very young. A lot of first, second, third year guys in that team. But the difference is when you got young kids that have bought into your system, they put in things like breaking the pressure gauge on Fox Footy. It was literally off the Richter scale. Geelong did not have time, especially an aging team that's old, may not be as, they're very polished because they're experienced, but they may not be as quick as what they used to be, coming up against kids that are giving you no time on the ball, forcing you to make errors, worked in their favour. It opened up the game for them. They literally forced them into errors, and then attacked as a team. They went up the ground as a team, and the whole thing opened up, and they were just bloody transitioning beautifully. Absolutely beautifully.
It looked really, really
it was great to watch.
Game to watch, and the style of play that Adelaide was playing was, really entertaining, and that's what you want to see. Look, overall, good play by Adelaide, and let's see where they go from here. Obviously, let's hope they can keep it rolling.
Next up, we had. We'll keep these two to the end. So then we had Giants versus Saints. Saints got the win. They're going to be good this year. Giants are struggling a bit. They've lost a few guys.
I didn't have him in my 8, Domo, soldier.
Yeah, I know.
This is the year where they're going to struggle. They missed their opportunity to win a premiership. They made a grand final. They were making top 4s. They've lost a few key guys. Yeah. Obviously, can't keep everyone under that salary cap. Maybe they're going to struggle this year and they're going to have to come back next year. But, look, I rate St Kilda higher than them at the moment, and St Kilda got the W.
Then we got West Coast beat Gold Coast 83-58, which is expected. West Coast always win games in Perth, and they're very good at home. But just shattering for Matty
Look,
Rowell.
good shattering, but good news that it's not an
Good
ACL.
news too at the same time. Yeah, exactly. He'll be back in. It's
It's 6 to 8 week
at the
probably.
yeah after in the second
Second half
half
of
of
the
the season
season.
he'll be back. But it's just so unfortunate. A kid that after 5 rounds last year was pretty much dominating for the Brownlow, then did his shoulder, missed the whole season, comes back, does all the rehab. Game one, bang, gets injured, lands on his knee injuries in the brace at the end of the game. It's just
It's
unfortunate, but he's going to be a
unfortunate,
star.
and Doma, this is where we bring it back around to. I'll tie it back into the card market, and we talked about his rookie auto selling for 300, 400, right? Like that's prospecting on this guy who's now played 2 games and whatever, not 2 games,
Oh,
but
he's played three
he's played
games,
3 games,
four,
right? And
four
his
games.
rookie auto's
Two of them.
300, $400,
Well, he's played six games, but he's only played four because he hasn't finished two. So,
right?
and he got injured very early on in the first quarter in both of the other ones. So,
And then we look back at we say go by some of the legends that have passed their rookie autos. Like I picked up a Sean Burgoyne one for $80, and I picked up a Chris Judd for $175. These are guys that are Hall of Famers. Chris Judd had announced this year to be inducted into the Hall of Fame.
yeah,
Matty Rowell, barely can get on the park. So this is
it's
where
true.
just use your brain when you are buying, prospecting on guys and investing in their autos of them and their rookie cards. Even in AFL, it's the same thing. What happens is Matty Rowell ends
Same
up,
thing.
much similar to a Jack Trengrove, a number 2 pick that didn't
Yeah.
quite live up to it.
You
You
never
never
know.
know. You
You
just
never
don't
know what
know.
happens. Yeah. So unfortunate for him. Then we had the upset. Sydney, the young kids just beat the Lions at the Gabba and spanked them, mind you, by 31 points. They did very well. Very
Did
surprising.
tip the
Good win.
Lions. Did tip the Lions, but did say last week Sydney, a
That
lot of
could be
injuries
surprising.
last year, and they could be the surprise team this year. I put
Well,
it.
the big Bud was back this
Oh,
week.
mate,
The
this just
boy.
gets better. This gets better. Congratulations to Bubba and his wife. They had their newborn son just yesterday or the day before. So
Yeah.
congratulations on that front. And
Now,
excited to see him back on the park because you know how much I love the
look,
Bud man.
now we're going to speak about this in existence. All right. I'm going to get it up. Do we want to go through our games? Because your team's shit and my team's shit. So, fuck.
Look, all I got to say with
There's
S.
no S&M rants,
No,
mate.
not
Because
no
just
Essendon
before the
rant.
podcast last
We ain't
week,
making the 8.
Ish.
I'm a realist here, and that game there summed us up. Brilliant in the first half, absolutely brilliant, and second half just lost our way.
Yeah,
So look, we lost by a point, and I'm not going to get angry if we get within, if we're within a few kicks every week and we lose, so be it. This is a development year. Keep playing Cox down back. Keep playing the young kids. Get games into them.
exactly.
This is
Yeah,
what it's about. I really like that they, they're trying to give Laverde a new role. I respect that because not for anything, he's been played up forward his whole career and he's been average up forward his whole career.
yeah,
So maybe it is time that he takes a new role and tries something different. So look,
yeah. We'll see what. Hopefully, it's all learning for your team and also for my mob. We played the best team on paper in the AFL, which is Port Adelaide. And let's just say when you got Tom Rockcliffe as your sub, you've got some pretty good depth there. So they spanked us by what is it,
52.
52 points. We got slapped, man. But some promising signs. Obviously, Jaden Stevenson, Luke Davies, Uniac looks like he's going to be an absolute superstar. This kid. But the problem is, and the thing is, I love Jack Zeeble to death, and this is no disrespect to Jack Zeeble at all. But as a North supporter, I don't want to see Jack Zeeble in our best. All right, if we've got a top 5 best players, I don't want to see Jack Zeeble in there. All right, I want to see younger kids by the end of the season taking those spots. Jack Zeeble can play a really good game, but I want the young kids. I want to see other guys stepping up. Yeah, I don't want to see the guy that's towards the end of his career still in our
Yeah.
best. because that doesn't give me promising signs going into the future
Correct.
as a supporter of
Not
the
not
club.
that you're not talking down on Jack
No,
Zeeble.
no, no, no.
Zeebel's a good player,
Jack,
and
Jack
he's
Zeeble,
doing what he's
to
got
be
to do
honest,
as a veteran at that club. But
yeah, exactly. And to be honest, Jack Zeebel's probably got the same exact mentality as what I have. He wants to see these kids come on, so then one day when he's gone, someone else takes up the reins and can lead the club
in the right direction.
in the right direction. So got spanked there. Whatever it is, we played Port round one, so hopefully we've got a bit more luck this week. But we'll get into round two games. We'll get our tips quickly. Carlton Collingwood.
Jesus, that's a tough one. I'm going. I'm all in against the Pies. I'm going the Blue Baggers.
I'm going the Blue Baggers as well. Geelong Brisbane in Geelong.
Geelong
Yep, Geelong. They'll bounce back this week. Sydney versus Adelaide. The two young
up in
teams,
Sydney.
mate. It's in
I'll take the
Sydney.
Swans. Budwa back.
I am too. Port versus Essendon in Adelaide.
You know my tip there.
Yeah, Port
Port
Adelaide.
Adelaide.
Saints versus Melbourne.
Saints.
Yep, so am I. Going Saints. Gold Coast versus North.
Well, it's a tough game. I'm gonna have to go Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's Gold Coast. We've got a very, very, very poor record at Metricon Stadium. Hawthorn versus Richmond.
Tigers.
Dogs versus Eagles here.
This is going to be a great game. What's that at Etihad Stadium? Marvel Stadium, sorry. Marvel Stadium. That's honestly, I reckon it's flip of the coin. Just because it's in Melbourne, I'm going to go with the Dogs.
I'm also going the Dogs, and the last game of the round is Freo versus GWS. Now, I'm just going to put a disclaimer on this game. If GWS lose to Fremantle this week, shit, it's not going to be good for them. I'm tipping GWS. I know it's in Perth, but they got literally no team. They're depleted.
Let's have a look at their. Let's have a look at their.
They've got the biggest injury list in the comp.
Be nice.
They lost Joel Handling as well to an injury in that game. I think they've got like 15 players or 12 players on their injury list at the moment.
Yeah, not according to Footy Wire. When I've clicked on the injury list, and Fremantle's not even freaking loaded on the injury list. What the hell's going on here?
Got to go on injury list here.
Ring us off some of those injuries, mate.
I will. Where are we? Let's get to anyway. The thing I was saying that I want to see this year. All right, we may not ever see it again. Right? And what I'm going to say, you probably agree with me, Sauce. We're never probably going to see a player kick 100 goals in a season. Ever
again. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
So my thing is, when you kick 100 goals, for listeners overseas or they're not familiar with our game, if you kick 100 goals in a season, that is unbelievable. And what happens is everyone runs on the field.
The supporters run on the field, storm the field.
They just, it's like, yeah, they invade the pitch, mate, to celebrate with the player for kicking 100 goals. And then obviously there's a delay in the game. They all have to get put back in their seats, security get around the players, take the player off the field, whatever. It's actually awesome. I've been able to see it once.
I've actually been able to run on the field when 100 goals was kicked. I've done it. I've ran on the field. I was at a game.
There you go. Was it at the Buddy game, or did you do it for Lloyd?
I think it was for Matthew Lloyd when he kicked 100 in the season.
Awesome. So my thing is, all right, so also listen to this. Lance Franklin's got 944 goals. He's not going to kick 100. No one's going to kick 100. If he gets to 1,000 career goals, you have to run on the field. You were never going to see a player kick 1,000 goals in their career ever again in this game.
That's a fair point, Doma. The way the game is played these days, I genuinely think there will not be another player.
You got to run on. And don't come knocking on my door saying you're inciting people to run on the field and this. Just shut up, mate. You're not going to say... Like we said last time, there was a strict warning in that game in 2008 or whatever it was, 2010 when Buddy kicked 100. If you run on the field, mate, power of the people. They all freaking ran. You didn't find anyone. All right, just shut up. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it.
Exactly right.
Don't say I started this, but it would be actually a nice gesture for Franklin. Great career. He's been injured, obviously. He's 56 goals away. It might happen over the next 2 seasons, but when it happens, I think it'd just be a really great thing and a monumental thing in our game to see, I don't know, that part of football lived out again one last time, potentially, for however long it takes before if anyone ever kicks 100 goals in the season again, or if anyone ever kicks 1,000 goals in their career. So, just to give you an insight into Buddy before we move on, because we have been on this for a while, he played 182 games at Hawthorn, kicked 580 goals in 182 games. He's only played 118 games at Sydney since 2014 because he's been injured. And in those 118 games, he's kicked 364 goals.
It's pretty good.
He's played 300 games, Sauce, and he's kicked 944 goals in 300 games. Pretty good.
It's not bad.
So, all the best to Buddy back this week. It's going to be awesome. The ladder quickly before we move on. The injury list, sorry for Freo, was Bailey Banfield, Joel Hamling, Stephen Hill, Rory Lobb, Griffin Logue. I'm just talking about guys that are in their starting team. Alex Pearce, Michael Walters, Darcy Tucker.
Yeah.
And then they've got...
I'm going to tip GWS. I don't think I told you my tip, but I'm going to have to go with GWS after hearing that. And I'll run through the ladder here quickly, Doma. Obviously, you got 8 teams that had a win, 8 teams that had a loss. Power, Eagles, Demons, Swans, Tigers, Bulldogs, Crows, Saints. That rounds out the 8. Then you got Hawks. 9 teams that had a win and 9 teams that had a loss. Hawks, Bombers, Giants, Cats, Magpies, Blues, Lions, Dockers, Suns, and your boys, the Kangas, sitting on the bottom where they'll probably be most of the year.
Number 1 pick, baby. That's what we want. All right, let's move on. Let's get into the EPL very quickly. There's not much to get through here. The games since our last podcast have been Fulham lost to Leeds 2-1. Brighton beat Newcastle 3-0. Villa lost to Spurs 2-0. And West Ham and Arsenal drew 3-3. I'm not even going to bother getting into the ladder. What's the point on the table? It's over.
We've been saying this for 5 weeks now? 5 weeks?
But there's a week off this week, so I'm not even going to go through the games either. They've got a break for Easter. They've got a break this week. They'll be back for Easter the following week, so there's a week off.
Obviously there's no Champions League action until the 7th of April, where the quarterfinals kick off.
That's it. Beautiful. So there's EPL done and dusted. It's been sorted very quickly there. All right, before we get into UFC, it's back, Sauce. The F1s is back. I'm so excited. We've got the Bahrain Grand Prix this Sunday. I think it's Monday here, actually. It's going to be an early morning one. So, unlucky for me. I'll be watching it from the couch early in the morning. So, I think I might get an early night's sleep on Sunday. But Bahrain Grand Prix, Red Bull look fast in testing. All right. Bit of late mail came in yesterday, and I'll get to that at the end of this segment. But the drivers, I'm going to go through it because there's been a few changes.
Speak to me.
All right. A few changes and a few team name changes and the look of everything. All right. So Mercedes is still Hamilton and Bottas. Red Bull is Verstappen and Sergio Perez, who came across from Force India. What were they last year? I've gone blank on who they were. McLaren is my boy. This is my favorite team. This is my team, right? My boy Lando and then Danny Rick. It doesn't get much better than that for McLaren. Aston Martin, who is the new team on the block, has Lance Stroll, which is formerly the pink team, man. I can't believe I've gone blank on this.
If I could help you out, Dom, I would, but I don't know. I just watch the races.
But
I don't really know the teams. I only know the main ones, and I only know what the team that Danny Rick goes for, he drives for.
Aston Martin's in it. Stroll and Vettel. So Vettel's moved across from Ferrari to Aston Martin. Alpine, who was Renault. So Renault is now Alpine, and that's got Esteban Ocon and Fernando Alonso makes his return to Formula One racing.
Yes, did see that, which is interesting, which is good. Another top driver. He's correct. Did he formerly win a world championship or got really close?
No, he won two world
There you go.
championships
So
at.
a top A-class driver back in
Did he
F1,
win
which
one
is
at Ferrari?
which
I
is
think he might have won one at
ex-
Ferrari as well.
which is great. I did see that on Twitter, so I'm excited for
So
that.
it's good to have him
Yeah,
back.
definitely.
I'm going to find this team while I'm going through these. And then Ferrari's got Charles Leclerc, another one of my favorite drivers, and another guy that I love as well, Carlos Sainz, who came from McLaren. He's at Ferrari now. So the team was Racing Point. That's the team I was thinking about. So Racing Point is now Aston Martin.
I was literally
So
about to
there we go.
say it. I just found.
Uh, and then we've got AlphaTauri still in it. Pierre Gasly stuck around with AlphaTauri. Obviously, he won a GP last year. He was fantastic. And Tsunoda, the Japanese driver, he's jumped on board. Very promising kid, this one, Saucy. Very, very promising. He's got a lot of potential. And then Alfa Romeo, Kimi Raikkonen's going around again with Giovinazzi, which will be awesome. Williams, Georgie Russell, and Latifi. And then last year, we had Haas, all right? We had Romain Grosjean, and we had Kevin Magnussen for Haas, all right? And Haas, they needed a bit of a kick up the bum, all right, Sauce? They needed a kick up the bum. They were struggling for so long. So the thought process behind Haas was, we got to get some young drivers in. Now, this duo that I'm about to tell you could not be any more opposite for a very long time in Formula One racing. It could be probably as close as what Albon was to Verstappen last year at Red Bull, but Verstappen isn't a nutter like one of the drivers in this team, all right? Haas, number one driver, the son of the legend, one of the goated ones, Mick Schumacher. So Michael Schumacher's son, Mick Schumacher, is the number one driver at Haas. So he'll be driving for them this year. And then the bad boy, Mazepin, who got in trouble last year. He got in trouble when he came onto the team twice. This guy is a nutter, all right?
We love it, though. We love it, Doma.
He can drive, but he's a nutcase, but he can drive. I'm telling you, he's got that Verstappen type ability where he drives like he's got nothing to lose. He'll take risks. He drives fast. He drives hard. Yeah, obviously he's not in a Red Bull, but he's in a Haas. All he has to do is just get through races, not do anything too stupid to cut off people and
How many
get
races
bloody
do you reckon he's going to DNF this year?
Well, I'm not gonna make a prediction on that. I don't like seeing anyone DNF. I know it makes for good theatre. I like great races like we had in, where was it last year, where it was just overtakes galore. That's what you want. You want to see driving head to head. You don't want to see Hamilton winning by a freaking 50 seconds and lapping his teammate. Where if his teammate's got the second fastest car, then... So the bit of news that came out, there's been articles. You can go look it up if you want, but the rumor on the street is that McLaren tanked their testing because a lot of the staff and the drivers got in the car and they have shit themselves because they are so fast. They actually were scared when they first drove the car. They did not realize how quick it was compared to last year. They were scared.
Oh, my Lord.
They genuinely got in the car and they were scared. So a lot of people that's the rumor. It's not fact, but the rumor is that they finished in the middle of the pack because they're hiding the speed and getting it ready for this weekend, where potentially people are saying that they finished P3 on the constructors last year. That potentially could give contest for Red Bull and McLaren, Red Bull and Mercedes, but potentially could be quicker than Red Bull.
Look, Doma, we need some competition.
I know.
We need something, Doma.
I'm praying. Please.
Please.
How good would it be? The greatest thing that could happen this year is either Lando or Ricciardo win a world championship. If that happens, I
Come
don't know what
on,
I'd do.
please. I hope it's
don't
true,
know what
Doma.
to
I
do.
hope it's true. I hope it's true that our boy Danny Rick has finally been given a car that he could show his skills. Because, not for anything, Doma, in that piece of shit that he was driving last year, how many top 10 finishes did he have? And he ended up on
He
the
finished
podium a
pretty
few
much top
times.
10 every week. He was top 10 every
So,
week.
and he was driving an absolute shitbox.
Mate,
So if he actually gets a
I'm,
car that has some speed, oh,
Sauce, I'm excited because you know when I hear things like this, and it happens to be McLaren. If it was any other team, I'd be like, oh. If it was Red Bull, I'd be like, oh yeah, at least I saw like, oh, they're fast on the testing. I got excited because I'm like, oh yeah, they'll be a contest with Mercedes because Hamilton needs a bit of, I don't know, someone to at least challenge him besides Bottas, who is 1 minute quicker than anyway, so it doesn't really count. So it's just that excitement. All right, it's try not to get ahead of myself, but the worst possible thing that can happen when you get information like this source is that both cars have engine failure on Sunday and then both don't finish.
oh wow, that would be
But
pretty funny. But
this time last year, don't forget Lando Norris finished third in race one of the 2020 season. So he finished on the podium. It was his only podium for the season, but he drove like a machine. So faster car, good drivers, anything can happen. Lastly, before we do move on, the other thing, please, please, Ferrari, please, for the sake of Formula One racing and for the sake of your brand, please do yourself like you need credibility this season, man. Last year was bad. Like Leclerc was driving the big red car from the Wiggles, as I kept saying, and Vettel was driving just the big. He was driving literally a fire engine. That's how big and slow the car looked on the bloody on the track. If Leclerc could get the Wiggles big red car to do things, surely they'd fix some of their problems. Please, please. I just want you to show me something. You got to be at least top three, top four. So yeah, look, very exciting time, sort of. Very, very exciting, and looking forward to this Sunday. Moving on, UFC, good card, and we've got a big one this weekend.
yeah, it was a good
So
card. So obviously it was UFC Fight Night, Brunson versus Holland. We'll run through the main card as we usually do. In the heavyweight division, with the knockout inside the first minute, our boy Tai Tuivasa knocked Harry Hunt Sucker, knocked him the fuck out. Let's just put it like that. It was one of the most interesting 50 seconds of fighting you ever see. You had Hunsucker was trying to box him up top, and Tai Tuivasa threw these lethal leg kicks, and he landed about 5 lethal leg kicks, right, and within that first 30-40 seconds, right, and you could see Hunsucker was already struggling to stand on that leg within the first 30 seconds of the fight. Now, that meant that Handsucker was trying to move forward. Tai Tuivasa caught him with one sweet one on the chin, and then that rocked him, and then it was good night from there. Then you had the bantamweight division. You had Adrian Yanez knocked out Gustavo Lopez. The women's strawweight, you had Montserrat Ruiz defeated Chennai Boys, however you say it, in the third round decision. Then you had in the welterweight division, Max Griffin knocked out Keenan Song, and let me tell you, that was an absolute cracking knockout. So if you haven't seen it, go watch that. And then the main event, middleweight division, you had Derek Brunson defeated Kevin Holland. Went the distance, went 5 rounds, but the judges' scorecards was like 49-46 or 48. 49-46, I believe, on across all the cards. It was a dominant fight by Derek Brunson. He got Kevin Holland onto the ground in a number of the rounds and was able to just wear him down. And, when you do that and you assert yourself in the top position, top mount, and are just able to chip away, and, you pretty much pound your way to a judge's scoring decision, essentially, because you're showing that you are the better fighter by being able to stay on top and land more strikes. Which is, by the end of the fight, Derek Brunson, it was no doubt who was the winner. Kevin Holland was severely outmatched in that fight. Now, Doma, Don't worry about UFC Fight Night Brunson versus Holland. That was a good card. Right, that was a good card.
Let's worry
But
about
it literally's
this
got
week.
nothing on this card coming up this week. UFC 260. You got the early prelims kicking off at 9 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Prelim card kicking off at 11 a.m. And then the main card kicking off at 1 p.m. Which will.
Give us some of these mains. Oh
So
my
we got the
gosh.
lightweight division. You got Jamie Mullarkey versus Karma Worthy. Then you got the bantamweight division. Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida.
He's back, O'Malley.
O'Malley's back. Anyone who forgets, O'Malley was obviously 12-0 before he lost his previous fight. Actually lost it, got injured within the fight and had to, retire hurt, and then therefore lost the fight. But he's back from an injury. I'll be interested to see how he goes about it. He was obviously
This will be
very
good.
cocky in his last fight, and then look what happened to him. That's just his nature. So we'll see. He's got knockout power. So very excited to watch this. Now this is where it gets interesting. These two fights are going to be absolute
Oh,
crackers. Welterweight division. You got Tyron Woodley versus
oh,
Vincente Luque, and I'll just go through here. You got Tyron Woodley 7th in the ranking in the welterweight division. Obviously, where the man Kamaru Usman is the title holder. Vicente Luque is 10th on the rankings. So this is going to
oh,
be a
nice.
massive,
Very
it's a
close. I
top
like it.
10 matchup, Dom. So these are the fights that you live for in the UFC. Tyron Woodley obviously wins that. He's going to move up the rankings, and Vicente
Bloody hell.
Luque, if he wins, he's going to move up, and vice versa. If they lose, they're going to obviously move down. And then the main card, which is going to be a cracker because the first fight was a cracker, and let's hope we see more of the same in this second fight. It's for the heavyweight title. Stipe Miocic versus Francis Ngannou.
Oh,
This is going to be a cracker. And you know what I say, Doma? You know what I say?
the heavyweights.
When the heavyweights are fighting, mate, I make sure I tune in because they throw absolute hammers. And let me tell you, Francis Ngannou throws some of the biggest punches of any person in the
Oh,
UFC. The man has raw power. Um, I'll be interested to see how Stipe handles it around this time around. But you know what? I'm not going to count out the champ, and I don't really know who to take in this fight. Um, it's going to be
it's gonna be
an
interesting.
interesting fight, and I think it's going to be a super even fight. I'll be interested to see if anyone, if they both try fight it standing up and less on the ground, or whether one of them tries to take it to the ground and use their jiu-jitsu skills and a bit of ground and pound game. So yeah, Dom, look, cracking card.
It's gonna be
UFC
awesome.
260 this Sunday, 1 p.m. The main card kicks off Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Obviously, if you're in the States, I'm guessing it's probably Saturday night for you guys. So yeah, tune in this Sunday.
Very nice. Uh, Sauce. Now we've come to the moment in the show where we umdenard this week. We umdenard. We're like, do we give it to someone that we love in the hobby, or do we not? And we deliberated back and forth, and we said he'll understand. He has to understand. All right. So we are going to do the Le Mans of the week now. I'll set the scene before Saucy just he jumps in it too. Right. So my daily commute to work in the morning consists of about an hour's drive. All right. So an hour into work, probably about an hour and a half to get home. So I do about 2.5 hours worth of driving a day. So I listen to a lot of podcasts. One of my usuals and one of my favorites is Luca Tigers Bronze. Luca Nation. Love it. I'd love to say I'm part of the double coverage family, but I'm also a Luca Nation family member. Love it. Listen to heaps of their podcasts. And I'm driving to work. And we love Cage. We love Cage dearly. And Cage, nothing against you, but Man, I don't know if you want some crazy feels when you did podcast 257, but like I said, it takes me an hour to get to work. That's if I don't have an accident. Because when you said some of these things, I almost drove off the road, mate. I literally had to do the pullover. I did the right thing, just pull over, get my phone, get it on the record and say, Source, you got to go listen to this podcast right now. You got to go listen to Cage. I'll set the picture for you. He started with LeBron. I know Gary V. It was with NFTs. I'm like, yeah, whatever. And he was just like, he jumped into it and he shat on NFTs and he said people were going to be holding bags of steaming poles of you know what. Then from there, he jumped onto one of our boys that we love as well, one of our friends in the hobby, Josh from Cardboard Chronicles. So gave it to him. This is in regards to the PSA 10
Flea Jordan.
Fleer Jordan, which we're going to talk about in Hobby Talk next. And he said that the index on Card Ladder wasn't predicting the right thing, the outcome, and that's not the be all end all and the prices and the stuff with the PSA 10 Fleer Jordan. And then the nail in the coffin was the LeBron James injury, where he said he'd never be a goat player. He's just everyone's held Kyrie and AD. He had to jump on their shoulders and get carried to finals. And then I said, Source, you got to listen to it. Listen to it. Now, Source listened to this. And as you know, we love LeBron. But we openly have said, Jordan, whatnot. It's fine. I don't care. We're not making this a comparison thing. But probably there is going to be a few comparisons to the GOAT in this segment before you obviously get the most prestigious award in the hobby. So, Source, I've set the picture. Now, you listened to this, and what were your thoughts? We love you, Cage.
Mate, I was thinking, boy, oh boy, this man is on one today. I don't know what it was. He hadn't had his meds or something, because the man was on some loony stuff. Going on saying ridiculous shit like, he's faking an injury so that, he can not go, 4 from 11 in the finals. And saying, just outrageous statements. And I was just thinking, you're starting to sound a bit like, you're starting to sound a bit like a lemon! Cage, brother. Some of those things that you were saying there, just, you know what? They were just lemon worthy. That's why we've had to give you the most prestigious award in the hobby. Not for anything, right? Jumped on the back of AD's shoulders, LeBron. Jumped on the back of Kyrie's shoulders, apparently.
Back of Wade
And Bosch. Look, let's take it back to who's your GOAT, because we clearly know who that is, because you own a PSA 10 of his rookie card.
Yeah.
Let's not forget what happened in his early days when he didn't have the support there. He couldn't make it to the finals, whereas LeBron single-handedly took his team to the finals, right? And I'm not disputing. I'm not going to sit here and say that LeBron is the best player of all time, because I've always stated, and this my view is, Jordan is the best player of all time. He is a GOAT, or he can be the GOAT, and whatever you want to call him, or people out there want to call him, because he did it first, right? And he was here first, and he did it in that manner first. That's why he's considered, even in my eyes, as the GOAT. Now, right up there, second behind him, is LeBron James.
The bottom line is you've got to give this guy respect.
And to be second right there behind and be talked about in that manner, I mean, although apparently he's not a GOAT in your eyes, I mean, I don't know who else you'd put above LeBron. I mean, I'd love to
LeBron.
hear that.
Love
I'd
to know
love to
that.
know that. I mean, if it's Kobe, I'm not going to be upset at that because, as you can see, I've got the Kobe in the background here and I'm a Lakers supporter, so that wouldn't bother me. But other than Kobe, speak to me, Cage. Speak to me. You know, unfortunately, we're in this the age of everyone likes to have these debates about the goats, but enough about that. It's more the manner about you talking about LeBron faking injuries, LeBron not wanting to go 4-11 in the finals.
All NFTs are shit.
All in, that's right.
Then you ragged on you said you made the comment that show referring to the crossover, and then you didn't bag him, but you had a crack at Josh as well, and I was just like, and this was all in the same
It
like
was in the same 10 minutes
it's
of
just
of,
one it
of
was just
chat.
one after each other, and mate, it was literally. Cage, you should come on to crunch time and do fire or flame because you just went flame, flame,
Yeah,
flame,
there was no fire
triple
there. There
threat.
was just straight flaming.
You were splashing the triple threat, the three, like Curry, and it was smooth. I'm not going to lie. It was smooth, and it was very interesting to talk about. And you know what? He got the reaction
Because he got the
that he
lemon.
probably because he probably wanted. He got people talking about it. I don't know if anyone else has gone and talked about it, but we just happen to have the most prestigious award uh, nomination
In the hobby.
on,
And
on in the hobby on our podcast. So
congratulations,
you
Cage. You
qualified.
have
You
been
met the
nominated for
criteria.
Lemon of the Year. You have been shortlisted based off your 257 podcast 257, the number where you just were literally on being a lemon.
Very nice. Make sure you do go down also and have a listen to their podcast. Always very entertaining. And when you get takes like that, it makes you think as a person in the hobby. It gets you worked up sometimes, but it also gets you to think. And that's what I know. Thought provoking things in the hobby are always fantastic. But unfortunately, Cage, you qualified, and we couldn't pass up on the opportunity to get you a part of our show through the Le Mans of the week. So all the best, and hopefully you don't go too hard on us. All right, moving on. Hobby talk. Obviously, we had the fair on Sunday. We'll get into that at the end of this segment. But let's start with the price drop on this PSA 10 Jordan Sauce. All right, you've done a bit of looking into this. Uh, we did mention it on this show. All right, uh, it was a bit of, as we call it uh, here, late mail. It's late mail when bit of rumor and whatnot, but it came on great accord and by a reputable person. Obviously, we're not going to name you don't name your sources clearly, but we mentioned on the podcast that we were told that PWCC had 5 of these PSA 10 Jordans in their lot to sell,
In their vault.
and what happened in their vault, and what happened to
And
us.
they couldn't even move them for 500,000. Now this was literally soon after there was 2 sales confirmed on Golden at 720,000 or 730,000. They had what 8 of these or six or 8 of these 10 Jordans sitting in their vault, wanting to sell them, and they could not find a buyer at that price. They couldn't even find a buyer at 500,000. And now, obviously, we've seen the real correction because the card has gone down significantly. Doma has gone down significantly. And here we are, where the last sold, I think, was around 250. I believe. So here we go. Not 250, sorry. 492 last sold recorded on Card Ladder, and I believe there was a sale even less than that, which was an auction through PWCC, maybe. So I mean, 720 dropped down. Not for anything, in the last month itself, it has dropped 16%, which is a whopping $96,000. It's in the last 3 months. It's still up in the last 3 months. But if you you know custom graph it from say the start of February to today's date, it is down 23%, which is a whopping $153,000. Now we did, as we said, we did have on good authority that PWCC couldn't move these cards at that price of 500,000 short after the golden auction record sale. And it's interesting enough. It's interesting enough that it's all come full circle, and what we were told is that has come true, and the price has come down, and it's sort of started to level off at around the $500,000 mark. Now we have been also said in the past that this card's going to get to $1 million. Do I see this card getting to $1 million? Maybe it hits $1 million, but once it hits that $1 million, I think something very, very similar, which is what has happened now, is going to happen again. It's going to hit that $1 million. There's going to be a flood to the market. People are going to try sell and try get $1 million, and it's going to come back down. And I reckon it's going to, maybe get back down to 500,000 or get down to 600,000. I don't see this card. Although I was convinced previously, now after what I've seen with this market and speaking to other people who have been in this a lot longer than me, I still genuinely don't think if it gets to $1 million that there's enough buyers out there to buy this card at $1 million.
Yeah, the problem is, as well, as Sources said, and I understand junk wax era and all that stuff, but you can go buy the box, and potentially get 3 of those Jordans in there. And in the day and age we live in now, where it's just a packet, when you pack it, you sleeve it, you top loader it, and you ship it to get graded immediately, the chances of getting 10s are a lot higher if the card's in good nick compared to, obviously, back then, if there wasn't as, the card care now is at an all-time high when it comes to grading. So there could be potential that more flood into the market. So the pop report goes higher. And unfortunately, when the pop report on this card goes higher, it's just going to stay or go down. It's going to stay at one price or go down. Because you can't have, I think how many, there's over 100, isn't there? 111 was it last time, the pop on that 10?
On the 10, so the 10 there's 315 on the pop.
Or 315. So if that goes up to 500, that's not $500 million worth of cards if it goes up to $1 million.
Yeah. So, and
no one's going to pay $1 million a pop for this card.
The PSA 9, on another note, is actually down from the same time from the 1st of February to today. It is actually down 51%. It's on a 50% discount from its all-time high.
Well, there you go. So, yeah, it's dropping.
And Jordan's not the only one. It's happened to Kobe. It's happened to LeBron. It's happened to all the GOATs and all these vintage guys that have shot up. Tim Duncan even shot up, and now he's starting to level back down. But this is where I think if you're smart enough to play this, buying the Duncan, buying the Kobe's that are now coming back down, because not for anything, the Hall of Fame hasn't even been, induction hasn't even happened. Kobe's and Hall of Fame inductions hasn't even happened, and Tim Duncan. Nope. There's word, obviously, that there's going to be a Lakers documentary about that championship, I think, in 2000, the back-to-back, where they went back-to-back, 2009, 2010.
And I also heard there's also going to be one for Magic Johnson coming out as well.
Right, exactly. So even Magic Johnson's cards, which had an amazing run-up, if you go have a look at his 1981 Topps, which is his first solo card, not his rookie, because his rookie is the 3-panel card with Irving and Bird. Well, that's his rookie. Essentially, his most expensive rookie.
That's his rookie.
He's on other panels, Magic Johnson. There's other 3-panel cards, much similar to the Topps Matrix, where LeBron's on these other panels with spuds. They're not worth anything. They're not worth that much. You know what I mean? They're worth something, but they're not worth as much as that one where he's with 2 other Hall of Famers. Now, his first solo card, which is the 1981, same with the Larry Bird, the 1981, where he's wearing the jacket. He's wearing the Celtics jacket, and Magic's doing a layup between 2 guys. That card's also come down as well. So, good opportunity here. These cards are starting to come down. If you aren't looking at this on Card Ladder and realizing how much they've actually dropped, you've got to realize it's never going to get back to the same price what it was at, say back in December last year. It's just not.
Yeah.
It's just not how the market works. The market usually comes, finds a new floor, starts leveling off. You'll see a level off of prices, and people are happy to eat it up at that. And you got to understand, maybe it's the same guys who bought those same cards back earlier, or were holding them, or holding a bunch of them and selling them because once they reach the all-time highs, and then realizing, hey, it's literally 50% down from its all-time high, 60% down. Let's pick them up now because there's still events to happen for interest to be gained on these players directly, and that will see another price hike in their cards, therefore making another selling opportunity. And if you aren't if you're just buying to collect to hold forever, that's fine. You don't really matter what price you sort of pay for the card, especially if it's a card you want. But if you're looking at buying and flipping and then being able to then reinvest that money into other cards to keep continually flipping, to build your bankroll to potentially buy a grail, these are the opportunities that you live for and you should be looking for. So,
Correct.
yeah, the Jordan is not obviously the only one. It's a lot of these cards, a lot of these goats, and hey, I'm happy about it because there was although I was giving Smokies of Kobe Bryant for how long, Dom? Literally a 2 month period was another Kobe Bryant card every month, and if you took my Smoky, you'd probably be up thousands and thousands of dollars right now. Especially if you bought PSA 10s or even PSA 9s, you'd be up considerably large amount of money. But I'm glad because I want to buy some nice Kobe inserts, and there was some serious Kobe inserts that just literally went for like 50 to 100 USD to like 500. Now they're back around down to the 200 mark, and I'm hoping they drop
Yeah.
back down to around 150, and I can pick up a nice couple of nice inserts. So yeah,
Good.
I'm happy that it's coming back down because I want to buy some more Kobe's.
Yeah, it is happening across the board, and I think it's not just sport. I think obviously it's happening in Pokemon. We saw the Zard uh, go for a bit more than what it was, but it wasn't as expected. So prices are starting to, as we said, it's never going to crash. It'll just equal itself out, balance itself out over time. But it will ebb and flow. It will always ebb and flow. Vintage will get a massive bull run eventually. Again, will just skyrocket, and it's literally like the stock market when it comes to cards now. So, uh, the other thing you brought to my attention now, whew, we're not gonna we're not accusing anyone of anything here. Yeah, we're not doing that. It's just it came to our attention by a couple of people actually told us this that PSA deeming cards ungradable. Um, and I asked Sauce when Sauce said it to me. I said, "Oh, so what? They're all ripped and battered?" And he said, "No, they're just not grading the card." And I said, "What do you mean? What? So it's not going to just so they're not going to grade it so it doesn't go on a pot report?" But Sauce said to me, he goes, "It doesn't matter if it's like they'll still if it's graded a 1 or a 2, people still collect that stuff." So I said, I was confused. What's deemed ungradable? Is the
Yeah,
card
look,
like
we don't know,
cut up into pieces and sticky tape back together?
look, we don't know. Like, and this is the things. The person who told me this was, someone they know sent in 6 Fleer 86 Jordans, 6 of them.
I'm
Four got
pretty sure he's
four
yeah.
got graded, 2 got sent back to him as ungradable. Now, even if they are altered, say trimmed or whatever, they will still slab that and say it's an altered card or a trimmed card, but it's still a real card. The fact that they're sending them back as ungradable, I don't know what to make of it. It's an it's interesting, make of
No,
it
I'm
what you
interested.
will.
I'd love
Do
to
they not
know.
want to grow that pop report specifically? Maybe it's just these higher end cards. They want to try keep it lower. Who knows? That's the word on the street. Is it 100% fact that they are doing this? No. Is it speculation? Yes.
Yes,
But when
but
you hear things like this, and this is a friend of his, so and why would he have any reason to lie to us about this?
and
Um,
the other thing as well is why is he sending in 6 Fleer Jordan cards if they're in like ungradable condition?
because to grade
Because
that
he
card,
knows,
it's very
yeah.
expensive, Doma.
Because even if he knows if he gets a 3 or a 4, he's still going to make more money than what it cost him to get the car graded.
A hell of a lot more.
Yeah, so that's why I'm just like, that's the thing I just can't wrap my head around. Like, if anyone else has heard anything like this, I'm not accusing them of doing it. I'm just saying if you've heard
I mean,
anything like
let's
this,
let's
as we
let's
do,
just
we always report this
let's
stuff.
just
We
say,
do on
Doma,
our pod. So,
the last sold four sold for about. I mean, the last sold four sold for 7K, which is a bit ridiculous. Someone's overpaid for that, seriously. But still, $5,000 it's worth as a PSA 4.
yeah, yeah. There you go. Like, as you said, I know we've been very harsh on PSA, very, very harsh on them. But I'm not accusing them of doing this because there's no evidence of them actually doing it. I'm just saying we're being told by another reputable person in the hobby, which has no reason to lie. So, and this person sends cards to PSA, so it's just like they have no
And we
reason to
just bring
rag
it
on
to
it. So,
attention because I'm like, look, it's
yeah,
bizarre. It's
I
bizarre
just
practice.
yeah,
It's bizarre
I just
practice
want to
because when you got
I just want
cards,
to
when you got grades
yeah,
from 1
yeah.
to 10,
I just want to
surely,
work out
unless that card is ripped in half,
and sticky tape back together
yes, it should still get a
or
grade.
staple. I'm just confused of what possibly could be the criteria to deem a card
If
ungradable.
anyone knows that out there or has had that
Yeah,
happen to them with PSA or BGS
or
or
any
another
other
grading
or
company,
anyone.
something else in that terms ungradable, and they've sent your card back, DM us. We want to know. I mean, this is why we talk about this stuff because it seems bizarre to do that as a grading company. Because at the end of the day, you grade that card, they still make money. Even if they grade it altered, they still make money.
I don't know. It's just odd. I found it pretty odd. But we'll move on. We've got a couple more things. Golden auction latest results. Source. If you want to go through a couple of the cards,
Oh,
anything notable on there
let me just
that you wanted
let me
to
bring it up, Doma.
discuss, and I'm going to bring up our next part of our thing. Unfortunate for people listening, but as usual, we'll always read off the cards, uh, what they're titled, so then you know exactly what we're talking about because we don't want you missing out.
So obviously we had the
But,
Kobe Bryant Nebula 1 of 1 Prism Choice Nebula 1920 Gem Mint 9.5 BGS selling for $121,000, which was an absolute
wowza.
cracking sale of Kobe Bryant card, that Nebula, which looked absolutely sweet. Then we had a 86. Obviously, we had the 86 Fleer. That's what we just talked about. 480,000 sold for. Old mate Timberland's probably he's just lost. 250k on his sale.
Oh
He's
no.
down 250k thanks to old mate Ken, who's stitched him up and got him to bid 730 just for a nice buyer's premium fee. And then look, there's a few cards. People saying a bit underwhelming with the prices. Well, no, in my opinion, not underwhelming. Probably just a correction in the market because obviously we've seen the last few auctions that Ken had. He had some cards that just sold for ridiculous prices. And definitely, it's not sustainable in any market. Nothing ever just keeps going up, up, up. Nothing keeps going up. Like it doesn't happen in the stock market. It doesn't happen in the crypto market. It doesn't happen in any, healthy market that has sustainability long term. So to see these corrections actually refreshing, Doma. It's refreshing to see some of these cards, leveling off and going back down. Um,
Gives people
Gives
opportunity
people
to
opportunity.
actually get into the hobby and buy some cards for
Yeah, and
once.
buy
So
some, Grail cards that potentially they may have not been able to get before because the prices were just out of hand. Um, Now there was an absolutely cracking auto which sold it was a 2005 and 6 Upper Deck Exquisite Collection, 22 of 23 games used patch. And now this is the best part. The patch is actually behind. Anyone who hasn't seen it, it was lot 14 on the latest auction, and it's the actually the I mean, I'll bring it up on the mini home overlay. Here you go. It is the Michael Jordan, and boy, oh boy, that's a beautiful card. It was graded an 8.5. Can you bring up a bigger picture of this or what? Come on, Ken. Oh, there we go. Bang. There it is. How good does that card look? Now, graded an 8.5. Don't worry about the grade. There's only 23 of them made in the world. Full number 23, Michael Jordan. And that looks elite. And that sold for an absolutely cracking price of $68,000, which I think is, probably reasonable price that grade. But
it's a nice
it is
card,
a
man.
beautiful card. We can go through a few more. There was a couple of nice cards. You got obviously the 2007 Topps Chrome X Fractor Kevin Durant rookie, which at a PSA 9, sold for 75k. Here we go. Bang. That is a beautiful card there. That Kevin Durant. Look at that. X Factor. That's a nice card. PSA 9. Obviously, if that's a 10, that's probably about a $300,000 card, let's be honest. Um, we'll go back,
Definitely.
have a look through. We see some of the prices here. What else we got here? I should have just organised this by basketball because we don't really go too much in the. Don't really go too much into the. Yeah, here we go. We've got a Willie Mays. That's an interesting one.
Oh, Willie Mays.
1952 Willie Mays. Let's bring that up. Obviously, we know Willie Mays is a very famous baseball player. Rookie card 1952 from that 1952 set. Obviously, I think it's his rookie card. I wouldn't know. If anyone knows if it's his rookie card, all I know is that 1952 set is a killer because that's the same set that the Mickey Mantle's from.
Man.
And that sold for, mind you, this is an SGC 6, and it
Mm-hmm.
sold for 32,000 as an SGC 6. So interesting stuff, Doma. But yeah, look, good to see. Good to see prices coming down a bit. It's what we
Oh,
need.
100%. It
Stuff
is
can't
what we
always
need.
go up. And look, let's see. I think it's going to come back around, and there's going to be another opportune time for these prices to go booming again. And let's hope people out there that you've bought the cards that you want to be able to auction off for when the next big price run up comes up on some of these legend cards, especially.
Definitely. All right. A couple last things. Obviously, we're going to talk about it. We're deliberated whether we were or we're not.
Yeah.
It's more like it's another one of those things. Yeah, things go around on the internet, and it's not. Obviously, we were going to say right here, right now. It's not confirmed to be accurate. All right, we're speculating on this, but we want to talk about it because it just appeared in a group, and it was a very revealing image which could cause a lot of problems and friction within the hobby if it comes out to be true. It happened to be a distributor's price list for product, um, for sporting card products, and the distributor price compared to what the retail price is, and then compared to what, well, obviously secondary market is whatever in terms of like after it sells retail from a store or a breaker, yeah, to someone, that price after it just becomes a joke. It wants to get on sold again, but the distribution price to some stores, and they had the figures there. It's quite alarming. So I don't know if anyone out there has seen it. My advice is, if this happens to be true, I'm just going to give a bit of advice to breakers and hobby stores out there. I'd probably drop the prices very quickly because you are going to get absolutely hammered if this happens to be an accurate image and it's not fake. It looked pretty legit. That's the scary part. Obviously screenshotted. Whether it's doctored, I don't know, source, but we're just sitting on the fence here. I'm not saying it's good, it's real, or it's not real, but I'm just saying that if it comes out that it is, it could be very, 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 I don't know, scary to see what people are going to do and say to hobby stores and
Yeah, but look, there's one thing,
yeah,
Dom. We already know that there's a markup, right?
yeah,
But
100%.
you know, this is what we. The thing is, the box prices that we see this year is unfathomable, right?
It's just stupid.
It's nothing the hobby's ever seen before. This sort of price, especially obviously Prism, dropping at 2K
Yeah,
at hobby. And the funny part about that is the Dutch auction for the photo boxes sold out at 2K. So they dropped their hobby boxes at 2K. Panini dropped Blowout. I think dropped them at 2.5, and Panini dropped them at 2K. And the photo boxes, which are supposed to be more
the best.
prestigious.
First
Anyone who
off,
doesn't know
yeah,
what
first
FODL
off.
is, it stands for first off the line, FOTL. So the acronym FODL, and you know, those boxes really should be more. Now, the fact that they've got down to the same price as the hobby boxes, which Panini released directly from their site, it's pretty alarming. It's telling us,
It could also be because Lamelo got injured as well.
well, yeah, no, to an extent, but you know, I look, in my opinion, it's probably, you know, I don't know what I'm making of this, but what I'm saying is, you know, the image that we've seen today, and you mentioned, or I seen, you know, I was
Yeah.
scrolling through a an American Facebook group, and someone posted this image, and I looked at it, and I'm like, this is interesting stuff. I mean, and it's not untoward, you know, in terms of the prices that were there. They make sense in terms of distributor selling to a store, and then obviously the store selling on to the consumer. The prices made sense, but where the issue lies is if these are actually the prices that stores are buying this at, right? And not for anything, there's a whole bunch of breakers who also have distributor accounts. So breakers are buying it at this price. And then they're going ahead and breaking it and selling it at the price that we are getting it on the market. Boy, oh boy, Dom. Boy, oh boy. If it is true, there are going to be a hell of a lot of people pissed the hell off. Now, I understand Panini's marking prices on their own site, but
That's
that's
fine.
fine.
They can. They're the
They're,
company. They can do whatever they
exactly.
want.
But if if this is actually happening and it's true, I mean, just put it in perspective. I think they had the Prism hobby boxes on there getting sold to stores or from the distributor to the store at 252 USD a box. Now, anyone out there who, if you listen to this and you know whether this is true or not, I mean, please let us know because we would love to know what the prices you're getting wax at, and we do understand that once the initial distribution comes out, then it's all secondary market stuff. But geez, if hobby shops and stuff are getting these boxes at 250 to 260 USD for a hobby box, and then going ahead and selling that for 2K to the end consumer, that's highway robbery, Dom.
That's 10 times the value.
That is highway robbery. And you are never, ever, ever, ever going to win on the side of buying the box for 2K. Buying the box at like, I understand to get it for 250. You won't get it for that because that's the distribution price. But then
Yeah.
buying the box at 500, maybe 550 USD. Hey, that's maybe 800, 850 Australian, which is still up on Cherry's initial price of the box from last year, the 1920
Yeah.
hobby box, where he dropped the price originally at 650. So
Yeah.
the price would essentially be at around 850 for this year, which is still ridiculous if you ask me,
Yeah.
considering the draft class is not even anywhere close to as strong. Um, it's pretty ridiculous that this box is now 2,500 Australian and 2K USD to the end consumer off the bat. That's the sort of prices that you
Pretty
see when it
crazy,
gets to the
man.
secondary market. Not to the
That's
consumer
crazy.
initially.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy.
So, and we spoke about it last week. Look, we understand it's a business, and if Panini's selling the boxes for 2K, why shouldn't the hobby shop? Well, I don't know, man. Like, as a hobby shop, you want
Well,
to
you
keep you
shouldn't
want to
because
keep your
that.
customers happy.
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah, but I
keep
understand that.
people coming back for repeat customer base.
Source, I understand that, but that was like a limited amount was sold off of Panini for that much. But then if they're going and selling their price as a distribution for $200, 250 USD, like you can't just say, oh, because they sold it for 2 grand, we're going to sell it for 2 grand. Like it came from Dutch auction,
Yeah, we
those
set the
prison
price.
boxes.
The breakers set that price. Let's be honest, because the breakers were buying all that stock to break it. Let's be honest.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the thing. But that's literally just like, yeah, all right, those ones sold for whatever, so I understand the markups that. But if you're gonna, I'm not even gonna bother. I'm just telling, like, it's not a real image. Not that we know it's not authentic, as we know, but I don't want to alarm anyone in the hobby, but you look at the history of business, just in general, outside of the hobby, in the hobby, anyway, it's probably bang on accurate. If we're being like, we don't want to be pessimistic. I hope it's not, but let's be realistic. It more than likely is that Panini selling it to, or distributors are selling it for $250 US, and then it's getting sold on for 2K. Let's be realistic.
Look, and I've also heard other word that distributors are marking up their price to
Yeah,
stores.
but you know what that tells me? If a distributor's selling it, like if you're selling it for 2K, the distributor should at least be selling it to you for a minimum 1,500 USD. So at least you're making $500 profit per box, which okay, that's reasonable. It's 5Ks every 10, 5K every 10 boxes that you open. Like that's reasonable. But something inside just tells me the distributor's not going, oh, we're selling it to you for 1,500. I don't know. Just the way things go in the hobby. Do you think that's the case? Like, based on your experience, just in general, like, I hope it's not, but do you actually think that's what the distributor's selling a box to
Look,
someone for?
I don't think
1,500.
it's that low at 250, but I genuinely think it's probably sub. I reckon it's not above. I can guarantee it's not above $500. I can guarantee you that.
That's what I'm
I can
saying.
guarantee you it's not above
That's what I'm saying.
500, and that
Yeah,
I'm
but what I'm
confident in
saying,
that number. Could be
yeah,
less than that. Could be 400. Could be 350. Maybe
regardless,
375 a box.
regardless, I still think regardless anyway, it's below $1,000, in my opinion. Anywhere below $1,000, if you're still selling it for 2 grand, that's cooked, man. Like that's cooked. It's just crazy. Anyway, we'll move on. But I just want to bring people and make them aware of what's happening as we usually do. All right, let's quickly go through this and then we'll talk about the card show. All right, Panini blockchain. We've got a new. It's our update, as we said. We're going to put an update every week, and we try and find some value. And we've got some bangers.
I'm gonna
It's
bring it
only
up on the home overlay, Doma. You know that on the.
nice. It's only soccer this week. All right. There's no NFL, no NBA, no baseball cards. Which I'll be honest, I'm pretty shattered about because uh, I like seeing some of those nice
Now,
cards.
if you're
Now,
watching on YouTube, you can see what we're talking about. We've got the
yeah,
PaniniAmerica.net /blockchain /blockchain dash auction /Dutch auction. Whatever it is, you go to blockchain at the top,
yeah.
you click blockchain
On,
store, and this
and
is where you
and
find these
on
gold.
and on the podcast, if you're listening, we will read the description of the card and the value of
And now,
what
if
it's
anyone
at.
knows, I still don't know
Yes,
how to find this out.
yes.
So, first, before we even go into this, if anyone knows how you find out what the card sold for,
Source.
or whatever, from previous versions, because I still want to know what that Ronaldo 1 of 1 went for, Dom.
Source. I don't know how I did it. I forgot to mention this to you. Yeah, I clicked on a card that was on my phone. I did it on my phone, and it had like recently sold from the last one.
Yeah.
Ronaldo, the one that had Raul
Yes.
and
Yeah.
Cannavaro, and I was scrolling across. Their cards weren't in there for price. Yeah, but it had recently sold, and I was able to go through and see it. Like I saw the Koke, I think went for like $680.
How much did Ronaldo go for from a couple of weeks?
No, that wasn't in there. That it was just like when it says like recently sold and it's like limited to like 10 images. I don't know how I did it. I should try and do it while we go through some of these cards. I'll try and do it again on my
All
phone.
right, let's
And
go
then,
through it. Let's obviously we'll start from the top. You got the 1 of 1 gold vinyl, Felipe Coutinho, current price on the Dutch auction at 14K. I'll tell you what, if that sells for more than $1,000, you are absolutely bananas. That should be under 1,000 for sure. Now number 2 on the screen. This is the Mojo card. This is the card out of um, this whole round of Dutch auctions on the Panini blockchain store. It's the
it
one
is a
of
mojo.
one Legends autograph. We're going to click it. We're going to bring it up on the big screen. Diego Maradona gold vinyl auto prism, 1 of 1 gold vinyl auto prism. He's in the Barcelona kit. He's got the wavy. It's just classic Maradona, as you remember him in his playing days. Obviously, it started at 25k on the Dutch auction. Currently, it's sitting at $14,836. It's got 2 days and 12 hours left on it. Doma, this card, in all honesty, I mean, what do you think is probably a good price for this card?
Right now.
14,000. I would say around the $10,000 mark, it's probably a buy.
Yeah.
For a 1 of 1 gold
It doesn't matter
vinyl,
what
you get that
doesn't matter
card,
where you get it.
you send it straight to PSA on an express, it instantly enhances the value.
This works. This card works exactly like the Ronaldo. Doesn't matter what the hell you buy it for. All right. It does not matter what you buy.
And this has to be one of the very few Maradona autos
and you know,
left out
and
there.
you know the crazy thing. We said when the late great Diego Maradona passed away, we said we're not going to probably see any more autos of this guy.
Obviously
But obviously,
Panini's got some stickers left.
Stickers. All right, now Sauce. If you go to PaniniAmerica.net/blockchain, we'll do it after this. We'll just go through. It has recently sold. It's got the featured and the recently sold. All right, I'll get you a couple. Like for example, that DeAndre Swift 1-on-1 NFL Shield card sold for $1,400 US.
What did Joey Burrow sell for?
It's not on there, I don't think.
Why don't they put the best ones on there?
That is bullshit.
Stuff you, Panini. Anyway, we'll keep going through. So we've got La Liga Legends autographs. Serginho Dest. I don't know how he ends up under La Liga Legends. What the hell? He's still playing. It's an RC card, mind you, as of Dest. Plays for Barcelona.
How's your legend?
That's what they've got it labelled as. They're absolutely, I don't know. They've lost the plot, mate.
The kid's
yeah,
young.
I know. It's a rookie card. I don't know what Panini's doing. They've lost the plot. That's definitely mislabeled. Anyway, so that's another one. Then we've got the Luis Suarez 1-of-1 gold vinyl auto. He's in the Atletico Madrid kit. That's a nice card. Luis Suarez, probably one of the best strikers to ever play in the Spanish league. Absolute gun. Dominated in the Premier League. This is what I love about Luis Suarez, right? Dominated in the Premier League when he was at Liverpool. Went to the Spanish league. Dominated with Barca. And dominated with now Atletico this season. He's doing very, very well. I think he's top goal scorer in the Spanish league. Stand to be corrected.
Is he?
I think so. You can double check that. Have a look.
What else?
Now we've got the Luka Doncic, Luka Modric, not Luka Doncic. She's got the Lukas mixed up. Luka Modric plays obviously for Real Madrid. 1-of-1 gold vinyl auto. Then we've got the Samuel Chuku. I don't even know how to say this guy's name. But, you know, not for anything, he's probably not going to be worth that much. So, not worth even mentioning. And you've got a couple of more. And Barcelona, another Barcelona player? No, this is, here we go. Who's this bloke? La Liga. Another rookie. Javi Galen, 1-of-1 gold vinyl. Then you got the Brian Gill, Mikel Merino. So, some of these guys, these are all from the La Liga.
Suarez is second to Messi. Messi's had 23 goals this season.
Go, right?
In La Liga.
So, not too bad. Pretty good by Suarez. Probably if they kept him, they would have done a bit better this season in La Liga, let's be honest. Now, this is probably the next card up that you may want to look at buying. I mean, not based off his last 2 years, because he's literally just been injured 95% of the time. But that's Eden Hazard, 1-of-1 gold vinyl. You know, if this gets under the $500 mark, on the fact that it's a 1-of-1, I mean, he hasn't had any success just yet. Let's hope he can get on the park. Let's hope he can stay fit for the Euros. Then you got the Inaki Williams, Kieran Trippier.
Trippier's the one I was going to say could be just a small shout. If it goes real low, it might be worth a buy because the Euros are coming up and he's going to play for England.
Yes.
And seeing as it is a 1-of-1 card, if you can put it on the Express and get it back for the Euros, it might be a good one that if England actually do okay and he's playing pretty well, you can get rid of it.
Then you got Mark Bartra, Yeah, these are all one of ones, but these aren't autos. These are just base
These
one of
guys,
ones.
nah,
Miguel Baeza, Jordi
there
Masip,
really isn't anything
uh,
else.
Enes Bardi. Then you got Maxime Gonalons. Then you've
God,
got
yeah,
uh, Takafusa Kubo. Some of these names, I'll tell you what. Pere Mila, uh, Lucas
there
Perez,
isn't. Yeah,
Anthony Lozano, Roberto Torres. I mean,
that's
that's
it,
it.
man.
So
That's
definitely,
it
it's
for
the
this
In
round.
my opinion, it's probably the Maradona,
Yeah,
Doncic, no fuck, I've done it again. Not Doncic, Maradona, Luka Modric, Luis
Suarez,
Suarez.
Dest.
Dest is a good one as well because it's a rookie card.
He's young. He's
Uh,
young. He's very
you've got
good.
Coutinho, which is not bad
Yeah.
as well. Hazard, and then from there, everyone else is probably trash. I mean, you said Trippier if it gets
Trippier.
down low, and that's because there's potential to have success. But the same with Eden Hazard. If you can get fit and play for
Yeah,
Belgium, Belgium's got a very good side. You got to think they've got
they got a good
Lukaku,
side.
who's had an amazing season. Obviously, they got De Bruyne. They got who else plays for them? The bloke that plays for Napoli, Mertens plays for them as
Ian
well.
Mertens. Yeah,
So
they got a good
they got a
side.
good squad coming into the Euros. But that's our roundup. It's the Maradona. That is the one. I mean, boy, oh boy, Dono. If I had the coin, you'd chop that. You'd eat that up straight away, wouldn't you?
100%, 100% you would. But the recently sold, I had a look. There's nothing there, mate. That really
Honestly, I'm
interests
going to
us,
email
to be
Panini and
honest.
find out how the hell I find this info because how can you this is supposed to the whole point about blockchain, the whole thing about blockchain transactions is it's all transparent. So if this is a blockchain thing, every single one of these transactions, especially on the first transaction, because it's the first. Obviously you get sent this physical card, and then you can separate the blockchain version from the physical version. That's fine, but we should know what these prices are sold at. So surely it's somewhere. Has to be. It's the whole premise of the
Yeah, I know. I
blockchain that
don't
it's
know.
open information that you can go find out or find these transactions. So we need to know. We need to know. I think, and there has to be a way. So if anyone knows, let us know. If not, I'm emailing Panini this week and finding out whether I get a response.
Nice.
Probably
All
get a
right.
response in 2022.
All right. Last thing before we get into Sauceys Smokey and finish off the show. We had the Melbourne Card Show at Melbourne Town Hall on Sunday. Um, it was different. Obviously, didn't surprise Sauce and I when we went in there what we saw. To be honest, a lot of other people were surprised. We weren't. I've been saying it for since day dot that AFL is the underground one, and when you go to these shows, they come out and they are very heavily represented by sellers, and that's what it was. There was next to no basketball, soccer, NFL, and baseball. Um, it was just good to honestly have a show and actually get to meet some of the great people in the hobby that we've actually communicated with and build relationships with during COVID throughout the last 7 months. And we have continued to have relationships with these people because they are fantastic people in the hobby. Uh, and they're homegrown as well, which is great. So we can actually meet them, have a chat to them, as well as our great relationships that we have formed overseas as well. So we appreciate all the support. We had a lot of people come up to us and say hello and said that they love listening to what we do and loved our content. And we really do appreciate your support because Saucy and I, we would not be here without you. So that is one thing for
100%,
damn
Donna.
sure.
100%.
But some of the people, Sauce, that we got to meet, I'll tag all these people in the description when this podcast comes out. But at Matt's Card Shop, Azuro Cards, Night Wax, Refresh Cards. If I miss anyone, Sauce. Cherry Collectibles were there. Rain Blaker, it was good to have a good chat to Blakers from Cherry Collectibles. Panther,
Chesh, our boy
always good to have a
Chesh.
yarn. Chesh was there. Melbourne underscore Cardboard. Matty Payne,
I
representing the
believe
Australian
a
Trading Card
lad MJ
Association.
Trading Cards was there as well, who's a big breaker down here. He bought some absolute mojo cards. He had some Kobe autos. He had some Luca autos. He had some big stuff, which was really cool to see.
It was awesome. If we've missed anyone or we did not meet you, CJ Adam Smith, did you end up hearing back from CGA? No, I did not
We
end up
did
hearing
email
back
them.
from
We
CJ.
did email them.
We
As we
emailed him,
said, we
mate.
would email them. Now, the next step
I
is they
emailed
do
him
have a
on the
phone number, I
spot,
believe.
Adam.
So I'll be giving them a bell sometime this week and trying to get them on.
Don't worry,
We,
Adam.
we do we do want to we
I
do want to get their side. As the
Yeah,
only
100%.
viable grading company in this country. We want to hear from them. We want to know more.
Yeah.
So we will
Anyway,
be following that up. Thank you very much, Adam.
we definitely will. Definitely will. But it was just fantastic to meet these people, have great discussion about the hobby. Obviously, we've got upcoming things. We got invites into doing a few things with a few people, which I'm not going to reveal at the moment. That those companies or accounts will announce that in due course. A few things, but it was awesome that we could have that discussion in person for once,
Yeah,
not behind a
yeah.
screen.
Which is,
So
look, all in all, Doma, I still had a fun day. We're into AFL cards, and we've talked about it on this show for us, so it was still something. We were able to pick up a couple of sneaky rookies, which we'll reveal in our vlog, which
the
should be
vlog, you'll
coming
see
out. I'll
that.
be hopefully editing that tonight, and hopefully it comes out tomorrow, if not the day after for sure. And I'll have a bit of a chat about it. But look, Dom, and that was look. The one thing was just unfortunately, and I think not to blame the organizer, but he's an old timer, Doma. He's an old timer, right? And nothing against the bloke, but I just genuinely don't think he realizes where the card market is at in this
I don't think a
country.
lot of people. I don't think a lot of people actually understand where it's at.
So, and the reality of where it's at. A lot of new collectors, a lot of younger generation collectors, a lot of collectors around the ages of, obviously there's younger ones, 16, 17, 18, 19, but then a lot of collectors between the ages of 21 and 30, right? And now, a lot of these guys are interested in American sports, especially NBA. Um, and it was funny enough, Doma. Obviously I bought 40 or 50 cards in my backpack, and I pulled them out on the table, and I ended up within what must have been within 5 minutes, Dom. I had about 10 people around my table looking at my graded NBA cards, and I was pretty much the most busiest table. The funny thing was that the organizer of the event gave me a tap on the shoulder and told me to move along because I hadn't actually paid for the table, and I'd actually just wanted to put my cards out to get some content for the socials. But got moved along,
Which is fair
which is
enough.
fair
We
enough.
moved
So we got
along. We'll
moved
do
along,
that.
and I said to him, understandable. I did not pay for the table, so by all means, I don't want to rub anyone up the wrong way. So moved along and ended up on the side, on the stage part of at the hall where there's a stage and some steps, and that ended up being the NBA corner. Everyone who had bought some cards with them, NBA cards to trade and whatever, ended up, congregating in that corner, having talks about cards and everything, and made some deals with some people. So look, we made the best of the day in terms of not having that representation of where the current market is at, which was disappointing. And I did express that to the organizer of the event. He did come up to me and speak to me later, and he did apologize for moving me on from the table. And I said, no, mate, you don't have to apologize. Like, it's understandable. Like, I don't want to upset people. I said, but also just realize, and I told him straight to his face that, the fact that you're calling this the Melbourne Card Fair and you only have AFL cards here, that's an indictment on calling it a card fair. The fact that you don't have Pokemon cards here, the fact that you don't have NBA cards here, the fact you don't have soccer cards here, those main three, I'm just talking about, and I didn't even say NFL, but NFL is a thing. The NFL Australia page has grown exponentially since I've been in it over the last 12 months. Not for anything, NFL pre-orders on freaking Zing and EB are selling out lightning quick. So what does that tell you?
It's true.
it's an indictment on calling it a card fair, and I
Now,
told him that.
now,
So
yeah,
look,
should have just been called the AFL
yeah,
card show.
yeah, pretty much, Donna. So look, hopefully there is another one. I did get the guy's number. Hopefully we can assist him and assist him in a way to bring more variety and get other people down there with tables that are NBA, that are soccer, that are other cards that aren't just AFL and Pokemon cards,
And
especially because Pokemon cards is massive with the kids.
and Source, let's be honest, all right? And we're always here to help people out, whether you're a hobby store and stuff, and we will be. If we get asked, who do you think should be here? We'll come and tap you on the shoulder and say, if someone asks us, we're going to say we want this person there, this person, this there. And we'll come and ask you, do you want to be there? And it'll be good for everyone to come together at an event to showcase what you've got and get your name out there because you're going to get everyone predominantly in the hobby in one space at one time. Yeah? And it's all about networking too and forging the relationship behind your business. Yeah? Now, before I get into what I'm going to say, the marketing plan, just a shout out to Matty, by the way, because what happened after Saucy moved to that corner on the stage, Matt Payne was just like, stuff this. I'm going to buy this table. He ripped out whatever it cost, paid for the table. Then, props to him, he drove home to go get his Jordans and then come back and put them on the table. And him, Al, and then they were nice enough and we really appreciate it. They got Saucy to jump on the table and they said, you can put your cards out on here as well. And then people still carried on to trade cards near the stage and then on the table. And it was actually awesome. And it just shows you can make the most of absolutely anything at a card show.
Correct, Doma.
All right? You could have just gone there. I'm not saying it was terrible. All I'm saying is you could have gone there and said, all right, all we've got is AFL. All right, let's go find some hidden gems for AFL. Yeah? That's it. And that would have been the day. But you know what? We would have still dug deep and tried to find things. But then when NBA came out and we saw the popularity, you can make the best of the day, mate. There happened to be a free table. The table there that was free was calling us. It was like it was meant to be, mate. But the thing is, all right, now, Adam, I'm going to answer a nice question for you and give a piece of advice because I hope they listen. He said he's getting close to 40, collected in the 90s, grew up, stopped collecting, got back last year. My story is probably the most common story in the hobby at the moment. The amount of dollars disposable cash bloke like me and putting into the market. Yeah.
That's a lot of people, mate.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. But what I'm going to say, Adam, all right, because you spoke about CGA, here's a nice one. If we come and we get asked and we tap CGA on the shoulder for a show, you better be there. You better be there. It's got nothing to do with me or Source, but if we get asked who do you think should be there by an organizer of a show, and we say CGA, it is the golden ticket for you. If we tap you, or anyone by that matter taps you, whoever taps you is Willy Wonka, and they are giving you a golden ticket to showcase what you do as a company. If you turn that down, forget about it. No one's ever going to use you. You're done. But if you can come there and actually show people your product, how good would that be? You got hobby stores represented, you got content creators represented, you got people that sell as a content creator or just sell through social media represented, and then you've got a grading company in this country alone represented. Doesn't have to be for NBA cards. They might not want to use you for NBA cards because we understand PSA. But to push yourself in the football market in this country, it'd be a golden opportunity.
I mean, obviously they don't want to talk to us, Dom, because they don't respond to an email, which I'm sure they're not inundated and that busy that they can't respond to an email. But hey, we'll give them a bell and we'll try get them on the show because I want to chat to them. As I said, the only viable grading option in this country, and there are a lot of people in the Pokemon space that are using them, and I do see quite a few CGA cards. I mean, they can improve their label because it's pretty average, but they need to if they want to take this seriously and be a proper grading company and be the grading company that's in Australia and give people an option to send their cards to somewhere in Australia instead of having to send them to the States, like, they got to up their game. Not only up their game on like, their marketing, but up their game on like, situations like responding to an email to us and, getting on here and chatting about your company so we can ask you questions.
You got to get yourself out there because we're going to try and help you. Like, we want you to be seen. We want you to be able to show your product. And I'm not here to just rag on CGA, but you know what? When you haven't got an office from all these other big companies based in
This is your
Australia, you should
opportunity,
be
mate.
licking. You should be
Because
licking your
if
lips because the moment one of them
correct,
comes here,
I
you're
was literally
done.
about to
You
say
might as
that.
well shut up shop, mate. Shut up shop. Put the board up, mate, for closure. I'm being serious, as pessimistic as it sounds for you, but I'm giving you the realization that you are finished. When it comes to that, you're done.
Yeah.
So I try and build this reputation now because I'm telling you, if someone opens an office here, you can't sit here and tell me that they're not going to take AFL cards to grade. Like you're not going to come open an office in Australia where it's the most popular sport and say no, we're not going to grade AFL cards because they're going to shoot themselves in the foot. And I tell you what, they got resources, mate. These companies beyond anyone's wildest dreams. So all in all, there'll be a lot more opportunity. There's another big meetup in Sydney next in May, which looks like it's coming along very nicely. It's pretty much like a card conference.
I believe there's one
True.
this week, Doma. This weekend.
Is there?
Yeah, I did see Australian Trading Card Association posting about it.
No, was that this weekend or May? I thought it was May 29th. Was it
No, I'm
March?
pretty sure it was March, Doma.
Oh, really? Oh, there you go. I thought it was
I'm
May.
pretty sure it was March. Here we
Yeah.
go. March 29th, 9 a.m. The
Bang.
Hobby Hangout. If you are from Sydney, I suggest you get down there. It's at
That is the
Sydney
one. Sorry.
University, I believe. Um, so, yes, Monday,
Get down.
29th of March.
Get
Saturday, no,
down there.
not Monday.
It is a Monday. It's a
Is it?
Monday.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's this one, right?
Yeah.
Wait, full lineup, save the date. Oh no, here we go. I think I've cooked it.
That is May.
No, full
Gotta
lineup
say.
is announced Monday. The actual
Yeah.
show is on the 29th of May.
Told you.
So I've cooked it.
Let's go. Let's
I just read the first
go.
date, not the second date.
That's all
Lemoned
right.
it.
Yeah, we both lemonded at one stage during this show, so that's all right. But yeah, that's a perfect opportunity, that one there, and it's on the 29th of May. Uh, that'll be fantastic, getting all these people together. Literally, if a lot of people buy into it, it could be literally a mini national. Because if people come from all around the country and put their name uh, in the hat, pretty much to say, "Oh yeah, we want to be represented here at this show in May." I'm telling you, yeah, that's true, Adam. Adam said in the thing, he said, "I agree. I don't know if they know where the market is here in Australia, but they can have all the AFL and NRL that they can handle if they just put themselves out there." And then he also said, "You're cook sauce." So,
Adam, you are not telling me anything I don't know already, buddy. I accept that on the nose, mate. But I still rock up here every week and give you guys content to laugh at me about or agree with me about or disagree with me about. And this is what it's about. Is sometimes I mean,
we are.
look, I'm gonna give myself some saving grace because I've had 3.5 hours sleep and I've had about 5 coffees today. So I'm gonna on that note, I am cooked.
I've got no excuse for my cock up at the start of the show. So if you go listen to that and you get to this point, I apologise for me actually forgetting our tagline. So what a fucking
All
mess
right,
that
Dom, let's
was.
roll on because
Hopefully, let's
we've
roll
just
on.
rolled
Let's
over the
finish up
2 hour
the
mark. We
Sauceys
got to get
Smokey.
onto
Let's
the
go.
Smoky. Now, I'm not even going to bring up. There's no actual card. There's no actual card that the Smoky this week. There's no actual card. But here is what I want people to do. Right. I want you to go to www.starstock.com. I want you to make an account, right? I want you to make an account. I want you to find a promo code to get an extra for $10 free. If you deposit $5, you get a $10 free. I use the promo called Jake's B-Ball cards. I'm sure if I got, message Starstock, they give us a promo code called double coverage, which I could get one, so people out there could start using ours. Who knows? We might get some affiliate, but I'm not into, making money off you guys. So just find one out there. Make sure you don't sign up without a promo code, because when you deposit $5, you can get $10 for free. So essentially, you get $15, right? Now, second part is I want you to go to eBay. I want you to start watching all PSA 9s and PSA 10s of low base cards. Now, make sure you are buying cards that they accept on their platform. In terms of, it's different, you got to go have a look. So just go have a look. I do know for like basketball, just run a few off that they do accept. Great, they accept Donruss Optic, Prism, I believe Mosaic,
But research.
Just go have a look. It's all in the FAQ section on StarStock. So make sure that you're buying the ones that they accept there. Right? Now, I want you to go watch these auctions or cheap cards between $20 to $30, $20 to $35. I want you to be trying to pick up these graded cards. Now, if anyone's seen my latest, I put a reel up about a Jaren Jackson card, Donruss, base card, rookie. Mind you, it has to be rookie cards because they only accept rookie cards. So that's definitely, you need to know that as well. Jaren Jackson, Donruss base card. PSA 10, I bought for $31. Mind you, I bought two. I bought one for $31, one for $32. Right? Now, with the cost of grading, it doesn't make sense to buy this at a PSA 10 at this price. Now, what I want you to do is you can actually, if you buy these cards and they're in America, you can add an address on your eBay account and put the addresses to StarStock. Now, make sure that you go through and have a look. There's a section under the FAQs on StarStock. How do I send to StarStock? And it explains it to you. Now, you can put the message on eBay to the buyer and say, put the address as StarStock, put your username as your name, right? And then write in the message, make sure you send them to, make sure you put a message when you buy it on eBay, and in the message part, please mark on the outside of the package FP. What does that mean? Well, StarStock, if you have graded cards or if you're sending graded cards, they get through on their Fast Pass program, meaning they get loaded into your account within 1 week. Right? Because it says 2 to 4 weeks on their thing, but I've heard that they've got that down to 1 week, and they've obviously scaled up, and it's 1 week. So within 1 week, that card will be from eBay onto your StarStock account. Now, at the moment, the modern market right now is still down. There's going to be the lead up to playoffs, so obviously looking to guys who could lead up to playoffs. Then looking to add those into StarStock to then flip them straight away as they progress, as there's interest in playoffs, as there's hype building up. So this is my play. My play is buying these cheap graded cards, getting them sent directly from eBay to StarStock. Make sure you please go read the FAQs in StarStock, because they have everything listed there and how you do it and how you go about it. And if you don't have a StarStock account, the other tip is make sure you find a promo code so you get the free $10. Then make sure that you put in your eBay message for them to write FP on the package, because that means they know it's a fast pass, meaning there's graded cards in there. And it will be loaded into your account within 1 week. Then, when the hype builds up, sell those graded cards and make bank. Right?
Bang.
You're buying these cards between $20 to $40. That's your range. With the cost of grading, it doesn't make sense to, to buy these cheapo base cards, groups, Optic, Donruss, in terms of basketball, and in terms of baseball, it might be Bowman First, Topps Update, Bowman Chrome First, and then, in terms of football, might be Optic, NFL I'm talking about, but, I'm talking about, this is basketball. The play at the moment is basketball because the playoffs is coming. So get this done, and get a few cards loaded in there. Spend $100 on eBay, get these graded cards loaded in there straight away, and I can tell you right now, obviously you got to get guys that are going to lead up. So a few of mine is, I've got some mookie bets. Obviously, MLB starting next week. Some mookie bets that I'm going to be sending there. I've got those Jaren Jacksons that I just talked about, which he hasn't come back, so all his stuff is sort of down. People are forgetting about him. And then a couple other ones that I bought was like I bought a RJ Barrett PSA 9 optic rookie base card, and I bought like a look. This was just like an impulse buy, but I couldn't pass it up. It was a Daniel Gafford PSA 10 silver. Prism Silver for $30. Now, I'm not spending more than $40 on these cards. Like, $40 is the max you should be spending per card. But getting those, loading them into your Star Stock, and then having the opportunity to flip them straight on Star Stock, I think is a great play. You know, first of all, you only get charged 5%. You get charged nothing for loading them on there, right? That's first of all. So it costs nothing to load them in there. You only get 5% charged, and you can instantly sell them and buy more cards that are instantly straight in your collection. So it's like looking to start with $100 worth of cards. So potentially with that $100, you might be able to buy somewhere between, you know, 3 to 4 slab cards, I would say, at around that target price of $25-$30, and then send them in and then make the flips. So that's the play. The play is not a specific card, but the play is guys who are going to have playoff hype, buying their cheap graded cards, PSA 9, PSA 10. I mean, they may accept BGS 9s, but I would just stick to PSA at this point because I just think it will be easier to flip on the platform and go away. Like, go for it, man. Like, that's what I'm doing at the moment. I've literally invested probably about 150 USD into this tactic, and I'm literally about to send them off to Star Stock, we'll see how it goes.
We'll bring it to you as a series. We'll see how Saucy can go with it all, and it'll make for interesting content and be good. That's Sauceys Smokey. That's been another show, and I'm going to answer a question in the chat. All right, Chesh is in here. Al, how you going, mate? He said, did we talk about picking up ball hoops base at $15 a pop? Now, all I'm going to say in response to that, to Chesh, you know we discussed this on the podcast, when Al actually, he wasn't buying it for this price because he's actually smart. He sold his LaMelo for over $150.
180. He told me the other day.
180, and someone bought it. But all I'm saying is that's the reason why we gave all those people that were buying him at that price the Lemon of the week. Because we knew, and Source said, it was going to get to this price. So that's all I'm saying. That's the reason why they got the Lemon of the week, for shit like that. So, lower price Kobe rookies. Well, it just makes proper sense at the moment. But anyway, it's been another show. It's been a long one.
As usual.
But hopefully I can sign off properly. So, keep living, loving, and breathing sports. It's been double coverage. It's been Dom with the Great Man Sauce. And peace.
Peace out, ladies and gents.
Thanks to everyone in the chat.
Thank you for tuning in. Please don't forget to leave a review on the Apple Podcasting app. Also, follow us on socials, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. Talking all sports, double curve.